Sorry, just to preface this whole video, I'm doing a Luther Vandross with my microphone because I don't know how to sit my hand still. Okay? So my voice is going in and out. Sorry. I love ignoring people. It is so much fun. As someone who can be anxious at times, who has anxiety, and it was developed because I didn't ignore people enough, including myself, right? I let people who are rude and crazy to like their opinions to like dictate my existence when in reality I should have been ignoring them. And it's so much fun ignoring people because it makes your life so peaceful. It's really hard to ignore people because especially with social media, people are kind of everywhere now. And um advice, how to do your skincare, how to go to the gym, how to do this, how to do that. You're a contrarian if da da da. Mind you, these people wouldn't know what a contrarian is if it hit them in the face going 80 miles per hour, or they start talking about contrarians when one person just agrees with them one time. Now they're a contrarian, or maybe that person doesn't realize that people need to be disagreeing with them because they're wrong, right? But not, stuff like that. You're this if you do this, and you're that if you. What if we just canceled all the noise and did what we wanted to do, and just maybe only listened to the critiques of like close friends and family? Considering that they're coming from a genuine place, because some people will try to tell you about yourself and they're dead wrong, and they're coming from a place of malice. They're doing it to make you feel bad about yourself, not because you need a fix. Um, those people you need to ignore. Definitely ignore them, right? Um, but I think ignoring people is so much fun. And my walk with Christ has gotten, because I'm Christian, has gotten so much stronger because I genuinely and generally ignore other Christians. I do. I don't value what a lot of them have to say most of the time. Why? Because some Christians are very neurotic and crazy, and they have never dealt with. They don't deal with the human side of themselves, and they over spiritualize themselves, and so they don't go to therapy. They don't do any of the work to make themselves better as a person, and then they just love to terrorize other Christians and make them feel miserable in their walk with Christ. And the reality is they hate themselves, right? And so then they want you to also hate yourself. Um, no. Anywho, ooh, yeah. So controversial take, but I do ignore what most Christians have to say, and I only really listen to like people who are deeply studied in theology or people who are Christian and close to me who know me. It's really only people I listen to. These social media Christians will have you so anxious about following God that you lose focus on God, right? Because they're telling you you need to be doing this to get closer to God, and you need to get rid of this, and this is sin, and that is sin, and you can do this, and you can. It all becomes too much, right? It gets to a point, and so you have to start ignoring people. And my walk with Christ has gotten so much stronger because I generally just don't listen to most Christians I encounter. I listen to people who, are close to me. Do I not value the input of other people? I do, but I don't take it to heart all the time. I think we kind of, when you take things to heart and take them so personally, it makes you kind of confused and you never really know who you are as a person. And it always makes you feel like your existence is just wrong. Everything you do is wrong and you can never get it right. Especially, I'm on my soapbox about Christians, so if you're not Christian, that's fine. Especially in Christianity, there's like they use a lot of like spiritual manipulation where like if you disagree with someone, you are fundamentally wrong as a human being and you are going to hell, right? And they make you feel incredibly bad about having an opinion different than them. Um it don't make me feel bad anymore because I'd be ignoring them. But see, that's what you need to do. When you ignore people, it just, right, especially people who don't know you on social media. But I find that Christians can be very comfortable with telling people they don't know how to be Christian and what to do, especially with social media. And it's like, you don't know me. You literally don't know me. Who are you? Right? And I think it comes from this like idea that like, oh, God told me, let me prophesy over your, and you're not even a prophet. You don't even have that gift. You're just a weirdo. Like that's it. You're literally weird and being crazy. Right? And so I think it's important as Christians we have our very few like people that we listen to and that we trust, and you can ignore other people. And also too, the main thing is praying with God and asking God for discernment, because God will tell you exactly what is correct and what you need to hear. All this other noise just, ugh, it's too much. Too much. And then in life, sometimes I've had friends who they give you too much input on things that are like don't need input in, or are just wrong. They feel a type of way, or they're jealous of you, or you know, they did something that was wrong, and so then they have to make you feel bad about feeling bad about something they did to you, right? And there's no like um and you have a hard time pinpointing what's right and what's true. And so that's when you need to like ignore and maybe think about it by yourself in silence and spend time with yourself. But on the flip side of that, for the girlies who struggle with anxiety like me, sometimes you need to ignore yourself, because some of the things that comes with anxiety is like you think about yourself a little too much, and not in an arrogant way, but in or like a narcissistic way, but in like a constantly thinking that you are just the worst, or something bad is going to happen to you and that you need to always protect yourself. And so sometimes ignoring those social interactions that were awkward and just not reading into them so much, and not reading into your behavior so much, and not assuming that another person has a negative thought process of you. And I know I understand social anxiety can be brewed from like past experience, valid experiences, because trust me, I developed my social anxiety from having a teacher who basically like a little bit of verbal abuse towards me, and it was inappropriate and it should not have occurred, but like made me feel like I was like bad, right? And so then you end up developing these complexes. I get that, I understand, but also too, it's not true, right? And you have to like understand that there are people, bad people in the world, who are like doing it on purpose. They want you to feel bad about yourself, and so you have to learn to ignore it sometimes. And it's not to say that it won't hurt your feelings. That's not what I'm saying, because it does. But I think experience also helps you figure out what to ignore and what to like actually believe. Um, did that make any sense? I feel like this little ramble didn't make much sense, but I appreciate you listening. And if you didn't understand what I was saying, feel free to ignore it.